much for being here. We will be beginning shortly. Also, what I wanted to do was, okay, we're going to begin. And I just wanted to give everybody a few minutes grace period, like always, just like yesterday. Oh, I just realized I'm not have my camera on. Okay, so welcome everybody. Okay. So feel free to, let me pin myself. Okay, why am I so high today? Okay, guys, so welcome to day 2. So excited to have you guys here. Let me know how's everybody feeling. How did you like yesterday's training? Let me know in the comment section. How did you find day 1's training? And how did you like the workbooks? Let me know where you guys are in the training process. Okay, so let's get the chat going and tell me. Hello guys. Tell me where you guys all tuning in and how did you like day 1 class? Tell me in the comment section, in the chat section. How did you like day 1? Great. Today good, great. Great. The pen didn't work for an answer on day 1. Not a problem. Great content that resonated with me. Very helpful. Day 1 was fantastic. It was great and insightful. It was very helpful for framing the foundation. Love the reflection. Okay. So good to know that there is still potential in the market to grow, and there is something called hidden job market. Yes, there is. Yeah, sometimes it's always interesting to find out how many people actually don't know about the hidden job market. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to begin. Today is day 2. Let me share my screen. Today is day 2, and first of all, before I begin, feel free to connect with me on Voxer. It's an app that I use. I am not a text person, so happy to connect on Voxer because I love sending voice notes. So here's my um, Voxer account, my link to my profile. Feel free to add me if you have any questions as we're going through the training materials today. Today's day 2. Feel free to message me. And let's get the start conversation going. It's better to message me on Voxer than LinkedIn because LinkedIn, I get tons of messages and your messages will get lost in the DMs. So for this training, I forgot to share it yesterday and I wanted to share it with you guys today that you can add me to Voxer and we can have conversation through that. So I've dropped the link. Also, I wanted to drop today's workbook link as well. So let me get that going. So today's workbook, here it is, workbook for day 2. You can use the workbook. Well, I'm not going to be going through the workbook today as much, but I'm going to cover the information that you will have to take home to do work assignments. So that's your homework for today. I've dropped the link there. And also I have dropped my Voxer link as well as everybody's joining. I know we always have a lot of times we're scrambling, few minutes grace period just to get everybody going. We had like over 300 people signed up, and I know some people are watching the replay. These sessions are recorded. They're also being streamed live on YouTube. So feel free to, you'll get the link for the replays that were there's instant replay available on our YouTube channel, which is GKM Coaching. Okay, so that's the channel for our YouTube, which is already being streamed. Okay, so first of all, who's excited for day 2? Because day 2 is all about putting dollar value on you. Today is going to be a game changer for many of you on realizing as you realize what your dollar value is and how much money you should be actually asking for companies and how much you're actually worth. Because I found that working in HR for 20 years, but I found that a lot of people, especially when I'm recruiting. So if you don't already know me, my name is Gurpreet Kaur. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit later as well. I have 20 years of working in corporate HR. I have 20 years hiring experience. I've built tons of hiring processes throughout my 20 years of my HR career. And one thing I always noticed when I was interviewing candidates for all the roles, any role, when I asked for a salary, when the salary question, hey, what salary are you looking for? What's your salary expectation? 9 out of 10, actually, it's more like 9.5 or 9.9 people always hesitated to answer this question out of fear of being rejected. Tell me, how is that true for you? Tell me in the chat or in the comment section if you're watching this live on YouTube. Is this true for you when it comes to salary? I see everybody saying me too, true, true, true. Yeah, right. Like the salary comprehensive about negotiating. Yeah. So every time I'm interviewing a candidate and I asked for a salary, what's your salary expectation? There were always a hesitation. I've even got people say, well, market rate, I'm looking for the market rate. I trust that you will pay me the market rate. And I found that 9 out of 10, many people didn't own their worth and didn't have the confidence to own the worth to then say, hey, this is what I want. And you know what? I was one of them too. Me too. So I was also in your shoes. I was also going on interviews when the salary conversation used to come up, the fear of, oh my God, if I say what I really want, are they going to reject me? So all that self-doubt starts to creep up, and the fear of rejection, because, well, you spend so much time sending out applications and I don't want to be rejected, right? So you kind of give a safe number. I used to give a safe number so that I don't get ruled out. And I always negotiated, but today I'm not in that place. Today I am a top earner in my field, and this is something I've worked towards. And what I'm going to teach you today is exactly what I've done for me to become a top paid professional in my field. I charge $500 an hour for consulting work, 500 US dollars. And even my programs, they are high ticket. So we call it high ticket because my coaching programs, I do charge anywhere from starting prices, $5,500 in US, can go all the way to 10,000 plus. So I am one of a top paid coaches in my profession. So what I've learned to do this, so I was exactly in your same shoes as you, hesitant to answer the question, always gave a safe number, but things didn't shift for me until I moved over from an employee to then becoming a consultant, independent consultant, to running my own HR consulting practice, to then becoming a career coach, that I had a whole awakening happen, but it didn't happen until I was sitting in a training from one of my coaches who I hired. So I have a couple of coaches that I've been working with over the 5 years. It wasn't until my coach said to me, "You are underpricing yourself for the results you deliver." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yes, you are totally underpricing yourself." So she helped me get my pricing correct and helped me develop a mindset that I need to shift from employee mindset to focusing on the results I deliver, and that's what I should be charging. And the whole game changed. I started charging for the results I was delivering, and that would look like depending on project to project. So what I'm going to teach you is exactly what I did for me and what I've done. And I also have helped 400 of my clients in my coaching program do the exact same thing. So I'm going to teach you how to do this today as well. Who's excited to learn how to put a dollar value on yourself so that you never sell yourself short? You're never underpricing or underselling yourself. No more playing it safe. I want every single person to write in the comment, "No more playing it safe," because I don't want anybody in this training today, after today, to play it safe. But it starts with you first claiming it. So claim it. No more playing it safe. And I'm not going to settle for anything less. Yes. Risk takers, let's go. Yes, Russia, let's go. Oh, Russia, I think I know you, my mindset friend. Yes, no more playing it safe, guys. No more, right? No more fear. Yes, oh, yes, Russia. Okay, guys, I have to give a shout out to Russia. And I'm so happy that Russia is here in the training. I might call her up if she's up for it, because the biggest shift is mindset. So if she's up for it, I'm going to call her up when I get to the mindset piece of the training. She said, "Sure, I'd love to." Yes, so guys, we are in a treat. I don't know if she was going to be here, but when I see my friends and people who are an expert in this space, I will call them up. So Russia's here. She's a mindset coach. I was actually in her training last week. She did a phenomenal job in her training last week. So guys, we're in for a real treat. Surprise guest today. Yay, I'm so excited. So fitting that she joined in the segment that I'm teaching about salary, because this does get really comfortable for everybody. I mean, it does get uncomfortable, but I want to make salary conversations comfortable for you. I want to normalize it. I want you to feel confident when you ask for what you're worth and not settle just because someone said no. Because guess what? When you hear the word no, it just means that that person isn't right for you. There is a company out there that will pay you the right price. Trust in that, and I will show you all the right companies tomorrow in day 3. So today is day 2 and tomorrow's day 3. And day 3 is where I'm going to show you which companies you need to target to get the price that you want to get paid for. Okay, so let's begin day 2. Okay, so Zoom's always tricky, so give me 1 second, guys, because first I have to go into presentation mode. Okay, before we begin, put your phones on do not disturb, because this is the 1-hour gift you are giving yourself. And so what I want you to do is be present in this moment. So turn off all notifications, put on do not disturb, and just truly be present here. Okay, so let me begin. Hey, let me know when you can see the screen. Okay, so let me know when you guys can see the screen. So today is day 2. I want to, once again, I want to welcome you to my training. Welcome to Career Breakthrough Challenge. Take a moment and just celebrate you because you showed up. I'm telling you guys, 300 people, more than 300 people register for this training, but not all can show up. Not everyone will show up, but you did. So take a moment, celebrate yourself. I want to celebrate you. Give yourself a high five because you deserve this. You deserve to be celebrated, and I want to celebrate you. Okay, so we covered day 1 yesterday, which was identify your expertise. You guys got a workbook to go along with it to help you do that. Today, we're going to talk about defining your dollar value and then shifting your mindset. Whoops, I just realized there's a little boo-boo. Okay, so let me introduce myself if you didn't already know me. My name is Gurpreet Korman, and what I want you to know is why you can trust me. Why you can trust me. You can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Perfect. Okay, so why can you trust me? I'm an HR expert. I have 20 years working in corporate HR. I've been coaching. I've been a career coach, a job search coach. I'm a career growth expert the last few years. That's been my sole mission. The last 15 years, I've been coaching career professionals just like you. But the last 5 to 6 years, my entire focus has shifted. Instead of coaching people just how to get a job, I've been really focused on the last 5 years helping people own their expertise, discover what they're really an expert in, position themselves as expert, and become top paid professionals in their fields. I'm on a mission to help every single one of you in this training and so many more career professionals earn more. And the reason I started to do this work was because I truly believe that we all deserve to get paid what we really want, and we should never settle for anything less, and we deserve this. You deserve it, I deserve it, we all deserve it. I've been featured in the Globe and Mail, Wall Street Journal, CBS News, which is not on that screen. I've been on Voice of America, 6 months radio gig. I have been on various podcasts. I've won a lot of awards. And speaking of awards, I just recently today won an award for most empowering women leaders from USA 2024. So this is something I woke up to today. I already knew I was getting this award, but I didn't know when the article in the future was going to go live until this morning when I saw the email. I've also been named top 20 women entrepreneurs to look out for 2024. I've been named the most admired global Indians for 2021. I have been nominated for various different roles, different awards as well. So it's one of the reasons why you can trust me because I have a credibility tied to my name as well. To kick off day 2 of the 4 days career challenge, I have 3 simple true and false questions that I would love for you to answer. Let's begin. True or false? Market rate is what you should ask for in your salary. Tell me in the comment section. False, false. Yes. If you were paying attention to me today if you were already here earlier in the room, then I actually already answered this question.
Gurpreet, there's a pop-up. Can you remove that,
Yes.
please?
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so the answer is false. Market rate is a surefire way to actually get underpaid for your skills, your experience, for the problems you solve, the results you deliver. It's actually one of the surefire way to get underpaid. True or false? The company's budget determines the salary you will get. Type your answers in the chat. Okay, I see true and I see false. Okay, the right answer is false. Companies' budgets does not determine your worth. It doesn't determine how much you should get paid. Your true value is actually in the problems you solve, the results you get, and how much money you can make for companies and the ROI. So companies' budgets actually do not determine your salaries at all. Okay, last question. True or false? Job market conditions dictate the salary you can ask for. True or false? Okay, so the right answer is, okay, everybody pretty much, I see in the chat, everyone got this right. It's false. The market rate what's happening in the market, be it recession, be it tech layoffs, be it any layoffs, or be it COVID pandemic, actually does not influence the impact that you make, the problems you can solve. Never, ever diminishes your worth, right? So external factors like layoffs or recessions may affect the hiring trends, but they do not diminish your value. Your worth is tied into the results you deliver, the work you deliver, the impact you make. Okay. For example, take my client, Parvati, for example. She landed a $400K US job offer with Meta this year in July. Okay. Now, I've given you a history of her working with me, but let's just take 2020, for example. What happened in 2024? Meta did major layoffs, right? Correct? Let me know in the comment if you actually were aware of Meta layoffs, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So Meta laid off about 21,000 employees in over 2023 to 2024, right? So many people right now this year, 2024, feel that they can't ask for what they really want, or they should just settle for what they get. But here's my client, Parvati. She didn't do that. She actually landed a 400K salary role. But here's her history working with me. 2020, what happened? Pandemic, right? Even in pandemic, she joined my program, my coaching program during 2020, which was pandemic. She increased her salary by 40K by landing her first 100K role. In 2021, she landed another job offer. She didn't actually apply for it. Companies were seeking her out, and she signed. She reached out to me. I helped to negotiate. We got 135K. We closed the deal. Plus, there was moving alliance bonuses, signing bonus, and so on. 2022, she got another job offer and she closed and signed up on 170K, increasing her salary by another 35K. 2023, she got another job offer and signed and closed a deal for 200K. By the way, from 2020 to 2023, these are Canadian prices. She was working in Canada. So this is 2023. 2024, she signed and closed a deal with Meta for 400K US dollar, increasing her salary by 358K Canadian. That's more than doubling her salary. I think my math's off because, yeah, she more than doubled her salary in 2024, and she moved, it came to California where I am. So in total increase over the 4 years, $498,090. Tell me this is not incredible. It's more than just great, Teresa. I think this is super incredible. And these are the results my client get working with me. And I'm teaching you exactly what they're doing in this challenge. Super, super coach. Thank you. I've never heard someone say that to me, Russia. Thank you, super coach. amazing work, right? So, and I don't want you to look at this and say she was lucky. Instead, what I want you to do is if she can do it, so can you. Okay, that's your motto. Every client success story I'm going to share, if they can do it, so can you. And take Sam, for example. He was looking for a job in 2024, struggling. I think for 5 months, more than 5 months, he was struggling to land interviews. He kept applying to jobs over and over, couldn't even land interviews. Joined my program, and in just 4 weeks, he landed a job offer with top bank in Canada. And prior to joining my program, he actually thought it was not possible for him to land a job in one of the top banks simply because of the tech layoffs that happened this year. But in just 4 weeks, he accomplished this. And so can you. Okay, so can you. So one of the most important steps is that you have to put a dollar value on you before we can even write a resume, before we can even put a LinkedIn profile together, before we even begin our job search. It is so important to do step 2. I taught you guys step 1 yesterday. Today's step 2, which is putting a dollar value. Your worth is way more than a market rate or what pay scale says, right? So if you can solve $1 million problem, or you can generate millions of dollars, or you're managing billions of dollar projects, what should you be asking in salary? Write it down in the comment section. What should you be asking in salary? So yesterday I asked you to write down your salary goal. Share it today with us. Share with everybody. There's so much power when you share. So I see over and over, which I was sharing this with you guys earlier, many career professionals don't know how much salary they should be asking for. They ask for the market rate, they play it safe, fear of rejection, and so on. So what a lot of people are doing is they look at pay scale, or they'll go to Glassdoor, and then they determine that that's what they should be asking for. But that's not correct. Why? Because pay scale only looks at experience, credentials, and skills. Just 3 things. That's it. But you're way more than just your experience, number of years experience you have, or credentials you have, or skills you have. Someone said 50% of what you're earning. Actually, no, you should not be asking for just 50% of what you're earning. My clients are double their salaries. The reason I'm showing you my client success stories is to help you determine that, hey, if they can do it, if they can double their salaries, so can you. There's no rule that you can only ask for 50% or 20% more than what you're making now. On average, actually, when people switch jobs, on average, people increase their salaries maybe up to 20%. But career professionals who work with me, they're doubling to tripling their salaries. I have one client who increased his salary by 50K. In just 6 weeks this year working with me, he went from 150K to 200K paid role, working for a top bank, and getting paid 200K salary in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks. The reason I'm showing these stories is to show you that meanwhile, the internet's filled, including LinkedIn, with people telling you the market is bad, it's so tough to get a job, there are thousands of people looking for a job, so you're not going to find the job. There's tons of negativity. And I just want to show you some positivity. It all comes down to the mindset, right? So pay scale, going back to pay scale only looks at 3 things, which is half the equation. So if you're always asking for the market rate based on pay scale or based on Glassdoor, you are leaving money on the table simply because you're not taking into consideration your brain, your capabilities, your unique talents, your gifts, your zone of genius, the problems you can solve, the results you produce, right? So when it comes to salary, you need to stop thinking like an employee So we have to have a mindset shift. Employee mindset is simple. Trading time for money, looking at company budget, looking at the market rate, and then saying, okay, this is what I should charge. Now, consultant mindset is different. So consultants and freelancers, by the way, me too, I was an employee mindset as well, until I shift over and became a freelancer, independent consultant, running my own HR practice, that I discovered all these years I was underpricing myself. Even when I started to become an independent HR consultant, started my own HR practice, I was underpricing myself until someone showed me that I was underpricing. Also, I learned that I was underpricing before my coach even further told me. I thought I was pricing right after I learned the mistakes I was making. But my coach still said I was underpricing. Once I started working with a coach, she took me to a whole next level. So before my coach, what I learned was, and my coaches helped me discover that you're supposed to charge for the results you deliver. You don't charge, you don't ask for salary based on your time, based on this year's experience you have. We don't ask for market rates. So consultants and freelancers, what they learn is that they need to charge based on the problems they're going to be solving. The focus is on the problems, focusing on the result and outcome they're going to produce, and it's expected of them, focusing on the deliverables. And that's what you need to do. So the biggest thing is you have to have a mindset shift. Now, speaking of mindset, because we have my friend here, Russia, I would love for her to share a couple of tips on mindset, because she just did a training on mindset last week, and day one was money. So I wanted her to just talk about money for like 5 minutes to help you. Do you guys want to hear from Russia, who is a mindset coach, how you can break your money cycles or the blocks you have of money? Because guess what? One of the biggest blocks I had was money too. Absolutely. So everybody's saying absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So Russia, let's hear from the expert. I'm going to pin her. Okay. So Russia is an expert. She's a mindset expert. And let's pick her brain for 5 minutes. And then if she has a little bit more tips. When it comes to money, what's one of the biggest blocks that people have when it comes to money? And why people get so scared to really claim their worth?
Hello, Gurpreet. Are you seeing
Hey!
me?
Yes, I can see you.
Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody here. So, this is an interesting topic, like money, money, money. If I tell you guys, like, there is a tree and there are fruits on the trees, right? So if you don't like the fruits, what do you need to change? If you don't like the fruit, what do you need to do? The root, right? Yes, the seed, the tree. Yeah, you need to change the root. So, well, when people, I see the questions here, they were asking, how can I decide how much is enough, or how I decide my money goal? I'm going to tell you, and please take the marvelous hat of your mind and be open to what I'm going to talk about, because you decide your own value. It's only you. And you can create your own economy. Honestly, when I worked with Bob Proctor and I heard this, I thought that this is crazy. This is unbelievable. So how can I decide my own economy? But it actually boils down to 3 factors, and Gurpreet touched on that, is the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and number 3, how much it is difficult to replace you, which is emphasizing you, Gurpreet, on what are your skills, or what you are uniquely you. Nobody has your eye print, nobody has your fingerprint. So there is nobody else that can do what you do, no matter labels you have put on yourself. One of the biggest, in order to accept for them to have more money or to multiply their income, not talking about 10, 15%, I'm going to ask you, take your marvelous mind and say, what's the biggest income you have ever achieved in your life? put the number for Gurpreet in the chat here. How
Let's-
much? Like 100K, 200K, 500K. What was the biggest? Like, okay. Now I want you to double this. Okay. Multiply this by 2. Okay. And then when you do that, multiply it one more time until you feel like multiply the income the biggest one that you had, keep multiplying until you don't feel paralyzed. Because this is possible, but you have to match it. Coming from a mindset like, in order to accept, you won't manifest, like belief must precede manifestation. Belief must precede manifestation. By manifestation, I mean that you see it in the physical world. So you are always manifesting every day. Like, I don't know, like I manifested you guys. I manifested Gurpreet in my life. She's a wonderful friend. I'm super grateful and love her so much and admire what she does. So like what you think about comes about, as easy as possible to say it. So money beliefs, you are not aware of what's in there. I'm going to say quickly like an example. For example, if you were brought up, the lid that's put on your mindset regarding money specifically, if you grew up in a family where mom and dad used to struggle a lot or fight or stress about money, from 0 to 7, your beliefs about money were formed. It's your blueprint. Your blueprint, the root, which is running how much you should earn or the quality of life or the relationship that you have in your life. Okay, clear? So if they were always stressing about that, then you have absorbed that. So for example, if they were like, you may have associated pain with money. If I ask for what I want, the ones I love will suffer. They are in pain because they're stressed about money. You may have built that. Okay. If you like ask for something and mom said, like if you were a girl, like myself growing up, and you said, Mom, I want money to buy ice cream. She said, go ask dad, he has the money. What did you build now? And then what did you build during that? That only man has money. And for mom, she was wonderful in your eyes. She doesn't have money. So good moms or good wives shouldn't have money. So you're repelling money without you being aware what's running in your subconscious mind. Does this make sense, Gurpreet?
No, I touch on this in my program, in my coaching.
Yeah. So if you want, like, I'm gonna like end with one thing because I know, Gurpreet, I don't want to take too much of your time. I want you to write a money belief you have. For example, I give you some and then I'll tell you the tool and then it's up to you. For example, money is the root of all evil. Money is hard to make. Money is the cause of losing loved ones. Money is the cause of problems. Money is stress. Okay? Okay, or money is like, money is greed. Okay.
Yeah, because I was constantly being told that wanting more money is that you're greedy.
Yeah.
And then I had to work through that.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I had to work through that.
Yeah.
I first identified that I have this belief, which is obviously mine, and I had to work through it to realize, well, I kept telling myself, if I can make more money, I can donate more, I can give it more.
Of course, the more, the more you have, the more you
can. And if I can build a successful business, I can create more jobs and pay people high price, because I believe in paying top dollars and work with top experts. I want to build a company that hires experts and pay them top dollars.
That's
so
fantastic.
I was a greedy. I'd be providing in the ecosystem and building and helping people achieve more, make more, and then everybody benefits in this world because the ecosystem, right?
I think that's why we're good friends.
Thank you, Rasha, so much for hopping on and sharing these few little tips.
I want to give them the last tool, if you don't mind. Now replace money is just a tool. So replace the belief you wrote about money with the word like shovel is a tool. Okay. So replace, for example, money is greedy with tool is like shovel is greedy. And how does it feel? You will laugh out, right? Or shovel is the root of all evil. I'm just telling you this to ease your mind about how you feel about money. That is just a tool. I hope this helps. I hope this helps.
Yes. And one thing I learned too is that money is just energy. So the energy you give to it. One of the affirmations after your workshop I've been doing this before too, but I lost track, but really started doing a lot last
Yeah.
week. Money's my best friend. Money always
Yes.
shows up for me. Money's always with me. Money just supports me. So I've been like saying a lot of key affirmations that I developed
Wonderful.
more just by sometimes I'm just saying money's my best friend. So just feeling good about money and giving
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So everybody, I also want everyone to know that money is just energy. The energy you give to money is what you're going to get. So if you're always constantly, it's one of the things I'm always teaching, even in my coaching program. I actually partner with the hypnosis expert to design a session for my clients in my coaching program. So to help people with their blocks, insecurity, self-doubt, including money. And one of the things is that I always tell everybody, including myself, that it's just energy. So if you feel like, oh my God, I can't afford this, then what you're attracting is the same situations over and over. So one thing I want to say to everybody, if you feel like you can't afford something, what you're going to see in your reality is employers also saying the same thing back to you. We can't afford you. We can't afford to hire you. We can't afford to pay you this much. So pay attention to your own beliefs, the own thoughts you create. That's why yesterday, guys, I gave you that tool. Catch it, delete it, and replace it. So catch your thoughts, catch the negative thoughts, delete it, and then replace it with something positive. And that's exactly what I do. If I catch my thought and then I delete it, like, when you spend money, oh my God, money's leaving. Oh my God, what's my bank account gonna look like? Okay, if I spend $600, I'm gonna have minus 600. I used to do that. Like you get anxious, right? So what I do now is I don't do any of that because I realize money is just energy, right? So first I just do gratitude. Thank you, God, for giving me money to buy whatever I'm buying. And I set the intentions that I multiply, double that or triple that, or I will get 10 times back what I just spent. And
Sounds
then I always do. I always get more back.
Yeah, you have good intentions.
Yeah. Okay, Russia, thank you so much. So
Thank
nice
you.
to see you. I saw you, like you wrote a comment. If you didn't write a comment, I wasn't gonna know you're here. I was like, Russia's here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Russia just dropped your link, your profile link, or wherever people can connect with you. So that was my friend Russia. And the reason, guys, I wanted to share, I'm so grateful that she had a few minutes to come share with you guys. And the reason I want to talk about money is because money, your beliefs, the energy, your thought process around money is what's happening in your reality. So if you're constantly feeling like you don't have enough money, you're just creating more of that. So if you're constantly feeling like you can't afford something, for example, let's say, which by the way, at the end of tomorrow, I'm going to start pitching you guys my program, talk about my program, and so on. Many of you guys may run into this. Oh my God, I can't afford your program, but I want it, but I can't afford it. And this is what I want to also condition you is that money is just energy. It's not about if you can afford something. So if you feel like you can't afford something, take a moment and ask yourself, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel you can't afford something? Because what's going to happen in your reality is when you're looking for a job, you're going to end up attracting that as well. So your thoughts attract as well. So what you think, you attract. What you feel, you attract. That's why it's so important to be in a vibrational of what you want to attract. One of the things I've actually done this year, a couple of months ago, I partnered with a hypnosis expert and I paid her to design a special session just for people for my program and future clients coming into my coaching program. That's going to help because 4 years of being a coach, I see everybody tends to have a lot of the same blocks when they come into the program. And some people can get over it faster, some people can't. So I actually took the next step and was like, you know what? I'm going to hire an expert to design a hypnosis session that I can give to my clients that they can listen to every day or however they're called to listen to. And it's one of the reasons why you see my clients having breakthroughs, the career breakthroughs. The 2 clients that I just shared today, they have major breakthroughs because they're also have the tools that I provide to help them have those major breakthroughs as well, just like what I'm teaching you today, like how Russia showed up. I leverage people, my network and their expertise into my coaching program. So that's just not me. I have experts who are teaching you from their expertise as well. Okay, so let's get back to talking about money and how much money you should be charging as well. Okay, so let's get back. Okay. So now the mindset shift is really important. So Russia covered it. I just covered it. Let's move on to how much salary you should ask for. So I've broken this up into 5 key factors that you need to look at when asking for salary. I've actually, if you take a look at the workbook that I provided today for day 2, these 5 key factors are put into the workbook, and I want you to complete the workbook for your homework, but I'm going to go over the workbook and the key 5 factors, and that's going to be your homework today. And this is where we're going to also end up and close the session as well. So 5 key factors that you have to consider when you're looking to how much money you should be asking for, okay? So number 1 is your value. So the value factor is you're the value you bring to the table, right? So what we want to look at here is your skills, the experience you have, your professionalism level, credibility, your unique edge, the results you can deliver for companies. So that's step 1. That's key factor number 1 is your value. So also you want to look at, when it looks at your value, is also dependent on speed, the quality of the work you produce, how fast do you produce it versus your competitor. So if you can do something better than your competition and you can do it faster than your competition, you should charge more. If you are more reliable than your competition, you should charge more. If you are more experienced than someone else in solving a particular problem, you should charge more, right? So that's how we determine pricing, okay? Step 2, number 2 key factor to look at is the work. So when we look at the work, you want to look at the scope of the work. What's your responsibilities? What will you be doing? What's included? What's not included, right? So what's included, what's not included, so your responsibility and the expectations. How complex is the work? How complex are the projects you're going to be working on? How complex is the problems you're expected to solve? It's more complex, more money you should be charging for. Okay? So the other thing is your value isn't, I want to take a step back. I wanted to cover something. Your value isn't defined by your job titles or the market rate. I found a lot of people chase job titles, but job titles don't mean anything, to be honest. Like I shared with you Parvati, who's making 400K, landed a 400K job offer. Her job title is technical program manager, I think, or project manager. She's not VP or anything. Job titles mean nothing because job titles are interchangeable for companies to companies. So you are more than just a job title. You are more than just a market rate. It's determined, your rate is determined by the unique blend of skills, experience, results you deliver, problems you can solve, okay? And as for your work, the work you do and its complexity matters. So not all work is equal. Not all work is the same. So the scope, the complexity, the responsibilities, how much influence you're going to be making matters. How many people are you going to be managing matters. Number 3 is the employer, the size of the company, how much revenue they're making. So the size, the resources of your employer's influence, how much they can pay you, not pay you, but how much money are they making? What's their revenues look like? Okay. Also, like, how large are they? How many employees do they have? And how much profits they make. Now, output. So number 4 factor you have to factor in the output. So this is the results that you produce. So let's focus on the results, the output you're going to produce. So what outputs are expected of you? What outputs you can guarantee to deliver? What guarantee results you can deliver? What results can you deliver, and KPIs that are expected of you? So this is also provided in your workbook. Okay, time, hours of work. How long are you expected to work? How many hours are you expected to work? Overtime. You know what many people don't factor in is overtime. Especially when you get into those manager titles, I am shocked. And the only reason I can say this, I always negotiated overtime, even if I had a manager title, because a lot of companies will hide behind manager titles and then not pay you overtime. I worked in HR, so obviously I have inside knowledge. I was like, no, I get paid overtime, and I negotiated every single time. If I couldn't negotiate, I factored that into my salary, and then quoted a higher salary because a lot of companies will not pay you overtime. That's why we have to factor into overtime. How many people are you going to be managing? What's the risk management? What crisis are you be managing as well, right? A lot of times people don't take into that consideration as well. So these are the 5 key factors that you need to determine when you are going to quote any company or price. So this is an individual assignment. You need to be looking at these 5 key factors before you give anybody your salary expectations and the dollar value. Now, in my coaching program, we go a little bit deeper than these 5 factors. We do put a dollar value on ourselves, and then we put a dollar value, and then we use these 5 key factors for negotiations, because your dollar value that you put on yourself is separate from how much money you should be asking a company when you get a job offer. We use these 5 key factors to negotiate. So you do put a dollar value, and then we're going to use these key 5 factors as well to negotiations when it's negotiations time. Now, when my clients use this system of putting a dollar value, the 5 factors I just walked you through, take Daniela, for example. She was working as a project manager. She has 20 years of work experience. I was actually interviewing her for a role, and she was going for an executive assistant role. And when I met her, I saw so much potential in her. But the problem was she wasn't positioning or selling herself correctly. I did her a favor. The role was beneath her. I called her after hours and said, this is off the record. You shouldn't be going for an executive assistant role. You should be going for a much higher role. You have 20 years experience. You've been a right hand to CEO. You should be going for VP level roles. She was currently as a project manager looking for assistant manager, VP executive assistant. So, and I told her I don't think she would be a right fit, but if she still wanted to go for the role, that's her choice. This is when I was HR. And so I wanted to help her. Then a year later, she reached back to me, and she found out that I started my coaching program. She reached back to me, and then she enrolled in my coaching program. Within 60 days or so, she got promoted in her current company, moved into VP level role. So she's a VP of, I forgot, it's VP of Solutions, Solutions at a fintech company. Okay, so knowing your worth and then knowing how much money you should ask for is the key factor. Even in even in your current employer, you can negotiate and move into separate, get a promotion. She got a promotion. We put a business case on why she should be moving up to the next level, and she pitched herself and then got a VP level role. Take Asif, for example. He was like looking for a job for, I think, 3-4 months this year. He was working in a toxic work environment. He reached out to me. He was working with one of the top companies, but it was toxic. His department, the area he's working for was toxic. He started his job search, but he kept facing rejection after rejection after rejection. He joined my program, and boom, he started landing interviews. He was landing interviews, and he started landing offers. He started landing interviews at Honeywell, Walmart. You can see the Intel, Uber, top companies, and he landed an offer and doubled at his own words. On top of that, the salary is literally double with benefits. I'm so over the moon. And this is the key benefit that you get when you know your worth and how to position and how to sell yourself. And tomorrow I'm going to teach you guys which companies you need to target. The key here isn't that we go after all companies, we sit behind a computer, say apply. You're not going to get more money with the traditional way of job searching. So I'm going to teach you something different tomorrow. And just like my clients, these 4 amazing human beings, how their success stories could be your success stories as well. If they can do it, so can you. Okay, so let's wrap up the session. Let's open the floor for questions. If you have questions for me, drop them in the comment section. Also, I did drop the workbook in case if you didn't get it, please let me know and I'll drop it again. I'll drop the workbook. Also, what I also doing is you can always also add me to Voxer because I like communicating through Voxer. I'm a voice note person, so feel free to do that. So let me drop the workbook for day 2. So I dropped that in the chat and I'm going to drop the link to my Voxer. Feel free to connect with me if any questions come up. Feel free to have a conversation. Don't message me on LinkedIn because my LinkedIn is always filled, DM, and you'll get lost. So just add me to Voxer. Here's my link to Voxer. Feel free to add me. I see a few people have already added me. Okay, so so yesterday's session, feel free to email me or you can go to the YouTube channel. Okay, let me just drop that. So if you missed yesterday's session, you can catch it on the YouTube channel, GKM Coaching. Yeah, okay, I'll drop it here. Okay, this is the yesterday's replay. Okay, I dropped it in the chat. Okay, any questions for today? About salaries on page 21, the guide, how do we get to the dollar value? Like numbers, is there any reference matrix like the immigration point systems? Okay, so that's a really good question, GKK. So you have to determine, so I don't use any matrix. Now, what I do for my clients that work with me, because I have 20 years of experience, based on what they're an expert in, how much money they can generate for companies or how much money they can save for companies, we use the PCSRB. And then there's a second component I teach is your value. I have another formula. So my coaching program is much more comprehensive than what I'm teaching today in the next 4 days. So this is kind of like pieces of my program, but then we go much more deeper. There's a second layer that I teach in my program, which is your unique value proposition. And I use a formula called money, time, plus savings, and we come up with the dollar value, and then we attach that to PCSRB. So when you do your PCSRB formula workbooks, you're supposed to be also identifying money, but I am also an expert in HR, total composition. So I actually can put a dollar value on every single person in this room. I can tell you exactly how much you should be charging once I can see your PCSRB workbook. So for my clients in my coaching program, when they complete the PCSRB workbook, I actually go through it, I review it. They tell me how much they think they're worth. I go through the workbook, even if it's 20, 30 pages, I go through it and then I put a dollar value. I'm like, no, you should be asking for this. And this is why. So I'm able to do that after I see the PCSRB. Another key factor is you can always, I do use some benchmarks. I don't use any benchmark just because I'm an expert in this, but some of the benchmarks you can use is you can look at PayScale. You can go to PayScale and put your information and it can tell you how much you should be asking, but I would ask way more than that, 10 times more than that. And that might be a little bit, but the workbook I gave you is to help you determine your skills, your values, the problems you solve. So use today's work with yesterday's workbook. They go hand in hand. Can I ask verbally? Sure, Trissa. Yeah, if you guys want to ask questions verbally, please just raise your hand. I'll be able to call on you. I actually prefer people asking verbally.
Right. I've not seen that book you're talking about because I wasn't there yesterday. Uh, how should I ask? I want to follow up regarding that question. When you're coming from a different market, because you come from different industries, right?
What do you mean by different?
Okay, all right. All right. There are different persons here from different industries and professions, right?
Okay.
Because they say what you can do for the company in terms of cost saving. Suppose a person is not, I'm in a revenue generation role. So
So if you're generating revenue, then you go by how much revenue you can generate. Like one of my clients he was generating additional $130 million additional revenue by taking the products and packaging them. So he's a sales expert, he's a SVP sales.
right.
And he was targeting like 200, 250K roles. Or once I was working with him privately one-on-one, and I assessed him and I said he should be going for 500K roles. Base. That's
All right.
base.
All right. Suppose you're new to the market.
What do you mean by new though?
Okay. All right. Suppose
But
you're coming
you're-
from one industry and you move into another industry,
So
right?
it doesn't matter if you're changing industry. Your worth is
Oh,
not tied to your worth. So if you I don't know when you joined today's session, if you joined from the beginning, I covered that. Like your worth isn't tied to job titles or you're in the industries you're in.
right.
Your worth is tied to you.
Yes, I understand
What
that.
you can do.
Right. Yes, and I say you did say you shouldn't just use the market value, but you do have a formula, right?
Yes. So I go much more deeper in my coaching
Yes,
program.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
This
All
is
right, no
like an
problem.
overview of what
I
I do in
understand.
the program. But
I'm
there's
with you. I understand.
but I don't look at I don't just have formulas, right? Like since you weren't here yesterday, if you email me, somebody on my team can send you the workbook and the link to the replay. I dropped the link to the replay. I lost my thought. Oh, I don't just have, when I'm working with my clients, I don't use any formula because I'm an expert in this space. I have 20
Okay,
years
I understand. I'm
HR.
with you.
So I have a workbook that I give them, which I gave you guys the same workbook, but theirs is obviously more comprehensive than what I gave you guys. There's a little bit of a
Right.
difference, but I gave you the
Right.
exact same framework that I give all my clients. That's
Right.
the first step we do in the program is PCSRB workbook. Once they complete that workbook, I review it. I put the dollar value. So I cut their work in half and I just tell them what they should be asking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't
Thank
even
you.
need to do the dollar value exercise. They do it, but I end up putting the dollar value on them. So
Okay.
like that's the
Okay.
benefit of having an expert like me working with you
Right.
because I can speed up that time. Like I see all the
With you.
questions. How do I do this? How do
Yes.
I do this? And I
Yeah.
just cut that work out of the equation because just do the
Okay.
PCSRB and then I'll tell you how much you should be going for.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that was Trisha. I want to make sure that I don't lose where I was for questions. Okay. 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 Oh, okay. I see Olajumako. You have your hand up?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I'm so sorry.
Good try. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, JKM. Thank you so much. I've been
My
following you.
name's Gurpreet. I don't
Gurpreet.
want to be called GKM.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gurpreet. This has been an insightful session.
Sorry, it's pronounced Gurpreet, Preet like pretty.
Oh, Gurpreet. Gurpreet.
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. This has been so much value. I've been joining from yesterday. My question is somewhat similar to the last caller. I already dropped it in the chat, but I just wanted to give a bit more context. So as an immigrant coming from a country where that's where you've had all of your experience, over 8 years of experience in a particular field, but you're new in Canada, just to be precise, and so you can also get the context. And it looks like you're just starting afresh, and it's difficult to really place a value, on yourself. I'm just wondering what's the best approach to this, and
So so I'm going to say the same thing. Your value isn't tied to the country you worked in. I've worked with immigrants. I have new immigrants in my program, and even past clients, some of my past clients were immigrants. And your value isn't tied to the country you're from or the country you worked in, and then because you immigrated now, that you don't just dismiss that at all. No. Your value is based on what you can do. So I want everyone to hear me loud and clear. Your value is you. Your value doesn't change because you change countries. Your value doesn't change because you change industry. You are still you. What you are capable of doing, the problems you can solve, right? The PCSRB workbook that I gave you guys all yesterday is to help you show you your value. So if you do the workbook, I know it's the workbook's a lot of work, but if you put in the work, I guarantee you how much confidence you're going to have. But I'm going to say this one more time, loud and clear. Your value, your worth of how much you should be charging has nothing to do with what country you came from, what industry you're working in, or what industry you're changing. It doesn't diminishes your value at one bit. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
And don't ever let someone tell you that you need to take less salary just because you're a new immigrant and you don't have, I don't know what country you were talking about. Where did you immigrate?
Nigeria.
No, which country are you?
Canada.
You immigrated to Canada, right?
Yes,
so
from Nigeria.
Don't let any Canadian company tell you you don't have Canadian experience. That's how they get all new immigrants and get them on cheap labor value. See, here's the thing. You got to know how to play the game. What's happening to many people is that the companies are taking your power from you and they are manipulating you and brainwashing you to believe that for you, oh, you're a new immigrant, so you don't have Canadian experience, so you need to take a pay cut. What ends up happening is you take the pay cut. Who benefits? They do, because they got you on a cheaper cost. They're saving so much money by hiring you on a cheap price, but yet you're going to produce the same output, the same results. They're laughing, you're crying. You're crying because, oh my God, I took a pay cut and my worth is diminished, but yet I'm producing at the same level I was producing in my home country. I'm getting companies all these results, but yet I'm paying pennies. You're going to start to feel it. You're not going to feel it right away. I guarantee you. I worked in HR for 20 years and I've seen this over and over, how people take pay cuts to land a job. And then 3 to 6 months into the role, they really get the taste of the role and they're like, oh my God, I'm doing all this work, but what am I getting paid? So save that headache. I know some of you might be desperate to land a job, but save the time and headache from just taking any job for the sake of taking it. Never. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you the companies you need to target in order to get high paid. If you want to be highly paid career professional, you need to know which companies to target. And trust me, it's not sitting behind a computer and just applying to every job you see that you can possibly do. That's like actually the worst way to get underpaid. Okay, so Rasha, you have to raise your hand and I will
There's
call.
no raising the hand. There's no no hand there for me.
There is a tool called, it's called reaction, and you'll be able to raise your hand.
It's got reaction. It just says heart.
Sorry,
Okay,
not
okay,
reaction. There's a way
okay,
to raise your hand.
okay.
You can see everybody's raising their hand. I'm
Yeah,
also,
okay.
you gotta keep in mind, I'm also going through also the questions as they were typed in. Okay, so Mike, I would say your value is dependent on its job value, is your quality of what you bring to the table and your ability to solve the problem. Okay, there's no question here. Russia, what do you recommend for applicants when they are on the actual interview when it comes to negotiation their salaries? It does not feel good when they settle and not ask for what they're worth. So when you're going on interviews, when the salary question comes, you should always give a range. Don't give a number and don't shut down that. And then when you get the offer, that's when the real game also begins on negotiation. Negotiations and answering a salary questions are two different things. So I'll get that back to that in a second. Please, could you share yesterday's workbook? Anybody that wasn't in yesterday's session, but if you did register for this training prior to today, prior to yesterday, you should have got the email with the replays and the playbook workbook. And if you didn't get it, then please email and then somebody on the team will send it to you. Okay, Mike, go. Mike?
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you, when you said that when they have the interview or they ask you the questions, the value is from your soul. What you can produce from people is how they ask you the questions. If you have the answers, you'll know if they're dictating to you or if they're not dictating to you in that interview. It's pretty clear of how they ask you the question. You think about it right away, you'll know the answer right away. Your value will come out of your answer, but you don't have to get.
Sorry, Mike. Is there a question here?
Yeah, the question is when you said your value is unlimited, it is unlimited. It depends on how they ask you the question.
So what's the question here?
Well, what I'm saying is you said your value, people aren't realizing what their value is for the money they're asking for in the job. Okay, so if you ask for $250,000, right, and it's $1 billion company, and you know your value is worth more than $250,000, you have to know what they're going to ask you in the questions from your knowledge, from your intelligence.
Oh, okay, I'm failing to understand the question, but I'm going to teach you guys who to target and how to target, and you don't even have to go on interviews.
Okay.
I teach a whole different method. There's no interviews, and I think that's what I was trying to teach today too. Move away from employee mindset. So your mindset right now is all about employee, and that's why you're focusing so much on interviews and interview questions. I don't teach job searching or in a way that you go on interviews. I don't do interviews. You're not supposed to go on interviews. What you're supposed to do is land meetings and be a consultant. Shift into a consultant mindset. Consultants, when when a company goes and does RF information request for information, and they're hiring consultants, like let's say Deloitte, they're having meetings.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. They are doing interviews, but they're having meetings and discussions. Exact same process I teach on how to line interviews and how to do interviews. I don't call them interviews. I call them meetings.
Okay, well, okay, Gurdeep, I'm just saying to you, I haven't done an interview for 20 years, but what I'm saying from old school, from my knowledge, when you get into a meeting, it's a different aspect of what they ask you and how they ask you it. That's what I'm saying.
But what's the question? I thought you had a question for me.
No, that was when you kind of were explaining.
Okay, no problem. I gotta move on to those that have questions. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for your input. Okay. ER?
Hey, it's Elizabeth Gurpreet. How are you? Thank you
Hi,
for
good. How are
having
you?
us. Good. Good. I just wanted to ask a little bit about framing. I see there's a couple comments in the chat about the US versus Canada, and just kind of how to deal with that if you don't have citizenship for both, but you generally work remotely.
Sorry, what's the question?
Deal with framing myself for. I'm trying to figure out the framing for US, Canada. Do we tailor per country or how to approach that?
What are we tailoring though? What do you mean by
Applying for
tailoring?
applying for jobs in Canada versus the US, setting your self up. Are there different strategies for the two countries, or is it the same for just approaching networking?
So I teach different strategies. I don't teach networking.
Okay.
To me, networking is something you do when you have a job. Networking is not something you do when you're trying to land a job. I don't believe in networking when you're trying to land a job. You're supposed to leverage your existing network. And network is people you actually know, like Russia. I met her on LinkedIn. She commented on one of my posts and she hopped onto my LinkedIn audio room. She raised her hand, she came up, she started talking. I liked her. I liked her energy. What she was saying resonated with me. Then we took the conversation outside of audio. Then she was talking about she putting a training. I said I'll promote her training. I promoted her training. I attended her training, and then now she's attending mine. That's networking. That's your network. There's a mutual benefit, right? Networking, people do networking wrong because everybody, when they look for a job, everyone gets the same advice, network. And then people start sending out connection requests on LinkedIn, send out multiple connection requests, pitching themselves, pitching their services, how many years of experience they have. I get it every day too. My LinkedIn is filled with people pitching them for jobs, for their services, but yet nobody knows anything about me. That's not networking. And people call that networking, and that's actually wrong. And that's not actually networking. Networking isn't a transaction. When you are pitching yourself, that's you being I call this, for lack of better words, I call that sleazy, sliming sales technique. Picture telemarketer. How many people actually like telemarketers calling them? How many people actually like those emails coming into the email box of random people trying to pitch their products or their services on you? And if you don't like it, I can guarantee nobody likes it. Nobody likes telemarketer calling them their phones. And we always try to hang up on a telemarketer once we find out. Don't be a telemarketer. When you are reaching out to people because you need something, you're being that telemarketer that you don't like.
Got it. No, that actually helps. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Amrit?
Yeah, hey Gurpreet, can you hear me right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks so much for day one and day two. I'm Amrit Pal from Montreal. I'm working for an investment bank over here in an application support role. My question for you is like, I saw your PCSR formula yesterday, right? That was very nice. So yeah, I want to have a question, like if I'm going for a like future interview or a future meeting with another company in a similar role, in a support role kind of, right?
Okay,
I've
so
never done any.
okay, I'm gonna stop everybody for 1 second. I only want to answer questions about, it's only 12:21. The only questions, I just realized I'm going off topic. And
Okay.
I'm also allowing you, so it's not your fault. I'm allowing people to go off topic. No, let me bring the focus back. Anybody has questions about today? The salary question. Okay, so
Hi,
everybody
Gurpreet.
see what's happening to everybody? You guys are already thinking about the future, and the future hasn't even happened. That's actually one of the ways that I found people fail in what they're trying to accomplish is you're so focused out on the future, you're not focusing on right now. Everybody's so focused on the future. So if you attended yesterday's class, please do the work. There's workbooks. If you have questions about it, send me an email. Happy to answer them. Actually, don't send me an email. I sent the Voxer link. Send me a message on Voxer. Happy to answer questions if nobody gets it. And if you need further assistance, that's where I would invite you to join my program. I'll be with you for 12 weeks, 12 sessions. They're coaching, it's a group coaching program. So I see a lot of questions coming in, and I see a lot of people struggling, even with the work that I gave yesterday. This is where I can really, really help you. Here's an opportunity for me to work with you and help you accomplish your goals and the results you're seeking. And I can help you way better, much more deeper than yesterday and today's calls. Today, I'm going to be very transparent. What I'm teaching is exactly what I teach my clients, but I'm giving you overview pieces of my program, but I give the full program to those that join the program. So there's much more depth to the program, and all the questions you guys have, like how to do interviews, which companies to go for, how do I answer this question? I cover all that in my coaching program. Okay, so Amrit, do you have a question about salary?
No, that's fine. I may join your program then in that case, yeah.
Okay, program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
George.
Hi, Gurpreet. Thank you so much for day one and day two. Nowadays, what I have seen most frequently is that companies have predefined salaries for certain roles, and given that you fall within the bracket of the experience required for the role, you have done that kind of work, and you apply for those roles. But when you apply for those roles, the first question the recruiter or company asks in the form is, what's your current compensation and what's the expected? So when you answer those questions, you do not hear
Technically-
back from them.
Sorry, technically in Canada and US, no companies can ask you that. You're not supposed to answer those questions.
Got it.
By the way, my clients, people who work with me, they never have to go through all that.
Got it.
You,
Fair
when
enough.
when you are being like an employee mindset, so you're approaching your jobs from that aspect, you're going to end up going through that game, right? And do companies have their preset bands and stuff? Yeah, every company does. Do companies go outside of those bands and pay people more? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Got it.
But again,
So,
you're not going to get that unless you do show that value, right? Like I had a client, which I was going to actually, I forgot to share today. I forgot to put in the slide deck. I actually wanted to share his story because what happened was he went for an interview and he coded his salary expectation and he went through all the interviews. And when he got the offer, they were lowballing him and they were giving him 120K. He asked for 150K. He was willing to take it because it was 10K more than what he was already making. So that's already a bump for him. Plus it's really, really close to home. So he's willing to take it. Now, if I wasn't his coach and I wasn't working with him, he would have taken it. But I told him, listen, you're not going to take it. I know the game they're playing because I work in HR. I know those conversations behind closed doors that you are not seeing. What they're trying to do is see if they can save 30K and get you at 120K. I go, look what happened. You're so willing to take it. But if you're willing to take 30K cut, then why did you tell them 150K? You should have just told them 120. So I explained to him the game they're playing. I explained to him if he takes it, the president that he's saying now, what's happening is the minute you take a pay cut, you communicate it and now you're taking 30K less. You're also telling them indirectly how to treat you. You allow, the way people treat you, even companies, it all starts from the minute you're a candidate. I think everybody has this misconception that once I become their employee, things will be different. No. The way you allow a company to treat you during those, when you're job searching, you find that next role, those interviews, is that it's you allowing them, you're condoning their behavior. I work in HR and I have these conversations every day with people. You're condoning someone's behavior then you can't get mad about it, right? So if you want to correct someone's behavior, you got to do it from day one, right?
Mhm.
So I walked my client the same thing. What's going to happen is the message they're getting, if you take this offer, is that, hey, never pay me what I asked for because I will always take less. So they're never going to pay you what you want. They're always going to pay you less because you already said you're willing to take it, right? So even in the future, when it comes to promotions, forget promotion, when it comes to performance reviews,
Mhm.
they're not going to give you the highest increase. They're going to give
Correct.
you the lowest. Okay. Why? Because you said from day one, I would take less. Like 30K is a lot of money to say I'm going to take 30K less, right?
Mhm.
When it comes to promotions, same thing's going to happen. They're never going to give you the higher end. They're always going to give you the lower end. Why? Because you said it's not what you're saying, it's your actions, right? So
Got it.
so if you're always willing to take a pay cut, willing to lower your salaries, what the message the company is getting is, hey, this person is willing to always bend and willing to always take low because they just want the job, right? Plus, that company would never value you.
Mhm.
So I cooked up a strategy and we went back to the VP, talked to him, and then the VP confessed. He said, actually, the manager came to me and said, I can get this guy a 120. And I was like, okay, go for it. Because my client stood the ground and then I walked him through exactly what to do, he got 150K. And then he came back to me and said, shit, I could have got 200K, which I was already telling him from day one that he needs to go for 200K roles. A lot
Well,
of times, I'd be very honest. And now he's going for 200K, but he should have already gone for it when I was telling him. But I meet people where they are. I understand, people have history, baggage, and all that stuff. And a lot of times people are playing it safe. And when you play it safe, it's fine. But the only person that's losing out is you. Companies never lose out. You're trying to tell
Mhm.
me like Meta. Let's take Meta, my client that I showed you guys today who landed 400K salary role. Meta made $23 billion last year. You trying to tell me they don't have money?
Mhm.
And that's what my client, when I was walking my client through, like not to take the 30K cut, and then he eventually realized, he's like, wait, this was supply chain role. Then he realized, he's like, wait a minute, their transportation budget is 1 point something million dollars. I go, there you
Mhm.
go. You trying to tell me they can't take 30K out of that budget and give it to you? They have the money. This is where we get brainwashed. And I saw even in the comments, companies, like you're saying the ban, someone said
Mhm.
company has budget and all that stuff, right? This is how we get manipulated and brainwashed to always stay low than what we want.
Got
Companies
it.
are doing that manipulation and we're allowing it to do it.
Got it.
99% of career professionals allow the companies to dictate what they should get, and 1% don't allow it, and those 1% are making a killing.
Mhm.
So you can
True.
either always just play it safe or you can be bold. And that was this is why I put the challenge is it's time to make bold moves. You can't play it safe because playing it safe never gets you far. It definitely is not going to give you a higher pay or a better role. You're always going to, even with the money, you're
Mhm.
never going to get a better role. Or if you do get a better role, then you're going to, within 3 to 6 months in that role, you're going to realize you undersold yourself. And then you're going to go ask money for a company, and company's not going to give it to you. I've seen it happen all the time.
True.
I work in HR for 20 years. This is why I started doing all this work, is like, no, people need to know the inside knowledge so that they're never selling themselves short.
So I'm sorry to take it further. I understand we are already half an hour ahead of the schedule. But yes, in situations wherein you know that you are a great match, even though the compensation listed is lowballed, or it's below what you value yourself at. So in that situation, would you still recommend that we should go for that opportunity and give it a try?
Sorry, let me hear this correctly. Say this again. I think that you're saying go for a role that's lower salary.
So a few minutes back, you mentioned that, at times the companies do have budget, but for the right individual, even though they have given a range, but they are willing to shell out more for the right person.
Yes, yes.
So in situations wherein they have quoted a salary range, which is somewhere close to, but less than what you value yourself at.
No, no,
Would you?
that's a different scenario. Now, if you saw a role and the company's already posted the role with the salary information, don't apply to the role.
Okay.
Applying to jobs is actually not the best way to land high-paying salary roles. It is a tool to use, don't get me wrong. But if you want to make more money, you can apply to that role. But there's a better strategy that I teach. You got to go straight. If you want to make more money, you got to stop applying to jobs online.
Got it.
And that can be your tool. I'm not saying you can't make more money, but it's not going to get you far. It'll get you to a point, right? So if you want to land those 200, 300, 500, all the way to 500K plus base, I'm only talking about base. I haven't factored in the total comp, like the bonuses and stuff like that. Your worth should be paid in money that goes into the bank account, not benefits, not bonuses are not guaranteed, right?
Got it.
So the base is what you're going to live off. The base is something that, if you want to go higher in the base, all the way to 500K and plus, those roles are not going to be easily advertised. The more money you want, the more those roles are going to be less advertised, because companies are not going to hire anybody for that. For those roles, you have to build trust, you have to build credibility, you have to be relatable, right? And this is where in my program, I talk about branding and positioning. Your brand level has to be there. Your brand, you have to present yourself like your LinkedIn has to look like an executive presence. Your resume look got to get that illusion too. But the biggest thing is you got to go straight to decision maker. Recruiters in HR, like me, we're not decision makers.
Correct.
We're just the middle people navigating, like screening, finding candidates and shortlisting it, interviewing and shortlisting, giving it to the hiring manager. Unless I'm hiring for my team, then I'm the hiring manager, right? So you got to go straight to decision maker. And that's where you got to go get the meetings. I call them meetings because what I teach in my coaching program isn't let's put a pretty resume together. Of course, you have to have a resume because everybody eventually wants to see it. But the key is how you turn your LinkedIn to become a recruiter magnet or hiring manager magnet where they're reaching out to you directly. How do you reach out to decision makers directly and get that meeting? It's never to pitch yourself, which I'm going to touch on tomorrow, what to do. I'm going to touch on it tomorrow a little bit, but I touch much more deeper in my program. There's a strategy and method to getting these meetings. Cold reach. Cold reach isn't about pitching yourself. There's also how to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a powerhouse. There's multiple ways to use LinkedIn to get what you want. Sadly, 90% of people, 9 out of 10 people are using LinkedIn incorrectly. And that's why they're not reaping the benefit. Okay.
Thank you so much, Gurpreet, for your
No
inputs.
problem.
Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I have dropped my Voxer link for if anybody wants to. I'm a voice note person, so I don't like text. So feel free to add me to Voxer app. It's free to use, you guys, just download it. I actually use Voxer app in my program. So if anybody's even thinking of joining the program, feel free to message me. I can give you the details and you can speed up your result and just join the program if you don't want to wait for any of the if you don't want to wait to complete the challenge and you wanted to kickstart right away, feel free to join the coaching program. Let me know if anybody wants to join. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to do market research and which companies need to target and how to launch yourself to the right companies. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. There will be a replay that will be sent out. There's a YouTube channel. If you don't want to wait for the replay, you can just simply go to GKM Coaching YouTube channel and watch the replay under the live. Okay. All right, guys. See